Welcome to Enchanted Lore. In today's video, we'd like to talk about Pathfinder versus D&D and the history about them and the different editions. So, let's get right to it. Alright, so I know it can be kind of confusing at times with the different editions of D&D. You have 5e 2024, 5e 2014, Pathfinder 1st edition, Pathfinder 2nd edition. What's all this? How did we get to this point and stuff like that? And so I think we need to go back in time so we can see how this all came to be. So you see, it all started back on Earth about 3 million years ago. Oh, hang on, getting a call. Oh, I don't need to go that far back in time? Oh, we're not doing a Netflix docuseries. Okay, my bad. All right, sorry about that. So let's jump forward in time then to where we're not starting way back in the dinosaur area. So, our tale begins in the year of 1974, and this is when D&D was first published by the late Gary Gygax and David Arneson. It was under the company of TSR, or Tactical Studies Rules, and that is the beginning of D&D. It had its own little changes throughout the time between D&D and AD&D, and there was some drama of the sorts with the management, but that requires a little bit more research, and that was a bit before my time, and potentially a subject for another day. Let's fast forward to the year 1997, and that is where WotC, which is Wizards of the Coast, purchases D&D. Then, having control of this IP, they decide to rewrite the rules and release a new edition in 2000, and this was 3rd edition. And this is where they really focused on having a standardized set of rules using the D20 dice system, and they kind of shift the focus to where it was more about the classes and the basic classes. Now, if you played some of the older PC video games, so let's say like Neverwinter Nights, that used the 3rd edition set of rules. We'll go in 2002 is when Paizo was founded. Now, they had a business relationship with Wizards of the Coast in which they were able to take over the publishing of the magazines Dungeons and Dragons. Now, those are two separate magazines, but they made content for that, and they got it published. Then, a few years later, in 2003, is when they released version 3.5 of D&D. And this is where they fixed a lot of the rules, a lot of kind of the issues with 3rd edition. They cleaned up some verbiage and it made it just a cleaner, tighter system. Once again, if you played some older PC games, Neverwinter Nights 2 used the D&D 3.5 rule set. And this was a very popular set of rules. People liked it. There was a lot of growth with it. There was a lot of content created for it with various books. Unfortunately, in just a short amount of time, in 2007 was when 4th edition was going to come out. See, with that, Paizo had a special license to work with Wizards of the Coast and publishing, like we said, the 2 magazines. But that was content for 3.5. And Wizards of the Coast wanted to kind of go in a different direction. And so I do want to give them credit for older WotC, because they actually did something that is, I view, very kind of them. And what they did was, instead of just letting the license expire and say, too bad, have a good day, this is your problem, they actually talked and informed Paizo ahead of time, gave them 7 months to say, hey, FYI, we're not going to renew this license. You need to come up with a different plan. So whatever it takes, hey, FYI, this is what we're going to do. And so I just want to share with that because I thought that was a very interesting, different kind of mindset than what we kind of see today with different corporations, right? So, like we said, 2007, 4th edition comes out. The problem with 4th edition was it came so quickly after 3.5, and there were so many different books and modules and campaigns and rule sets that built upon the 3.5 rules, and it was kind of a different style too, focusing more on encouraging of using the minis, and it was a bigger change, and so it came with mixed feelings and mixed reviews. It had some creative aspects to it, but because of all this and people already spending so much money on these original books, they really weren't too interested in just forking out that much money in such a more amount of time. Well, like we said, now Paizo was left in a situation of where they had to figure out what they were going to do. And they saw a business opportunity. One of their creative members, well, he was a fan of 3.5, but he had some issues with how it was structured. And so he homebrewed, so he made house rules, basically, for some of the different elements and tweaked it and modified it to kind of fit more of the play style that he liked. And so he presented this idea to the manager. It was like, hey, I have this and we can continue and expand upon this line. It basically is 3.5 modified, so 3.75, so it builds upon the bones of 3.5, but we modify it, we fix it. And one of the things that they did was focus more on like class identity even more, so that way in 3.5 you had to multi-class a lot. And here with Paizo, with Pathfinder, you had to you could get to level 20 with just one class. You didn't have to multi-class if you didn't want to. So they worked hard on that, and in 2009 is when Paizo releases Pathfinder RPG. So this is where we're going to stop in the timeline, as I'm running out of time, and we'll have to continue the rest of the story next time.